The title of the workshop, we've been throwing around AAADV. So what does AAADV mean? Accelerating. It's all about accelerating. Accelerating anti-cancer agent development and validation. And I think development and validation really means evaluating efficacy and safety, and ultimately making an effective and safe drug distributable and accessible to patients who need them. The AAADV workshop is probably the major educational outreach activity initiative of the Office of Hematology Oncology Products at the FDA. It's a very unique meeting, both in format, venue, scope, and objectives.
I think the most unique thing about the AAADV workshop is the fact that it brings together all the stakeholders in drug development for oncology drugs, meaning government, academia, industry, and patient advocates, and really has panels and sessions that have all represented parties, and gets feedback and input, allows networking and collaboration.
Only happens here, can't happen anywhere else because we are the sole owners of the content, if you will, is actual case studies of successful drug applications, recent drug applications. And this brings together the project teams from industry who were responsible for the development and the application, as well as the review team from the FDA to collaborate on a presentation talking about challenges, timelines, opportunities, missed opportunities, and it's a real opportunity, I think, for new learners and old learners to learn some real-life experience with successful applications.
This meeting has given our staff at FDA opportunities to learn from the great scientists, to interact. And it also gives an opportunity from the external stakeholders, the pharmaceutical industry, patient advocates, academic groups, to learn from us. So in my opinion, it has made a huge impact on the drug development and ensuring that safe and effective drugs are delivered expeditiously to patients.
I'm coming from FDA, and so we can let the general public, including the advocacy groups and pharmaceutical company, of why we take certain decisions the way we take our decisions without going into specific products. And I think that will help understand the science as well as the decisions that are made. We are also changing with the science and coming up with new topics, so it's not a static, the same thing being discussed every meeting, and I think that's the key thing moving forward as well.
From us at the FDA, everything that we do in reviewing applications for new drugs is all about what those new drugs will hopefully do for the patient. So we want to see successful applications. We don't always see successful applications, and we really look at this as an opportunity to share with seasoned investigators, seasoned people in the pharmaceutical industry, as well as new investigators and new people in the industry about what can be, what should be, what must be best practices in rapidly getting the best drugs, the most effective drugs to patients.
This is an opportunity for young investigators from government, industry, and academia to come together with senior members of FDA leadership and hear about all phases of drug development, from the initial submission of a first-in-human trial to support an IND, all the way up through drug approval and the post-marketing settings. Most investigators never get a chance to sit down with regulators one-on-one and just learn about drug development in a broad sense. Most of the meetings that investigators would ever have with regulators would be in the context of a specific application where they would be coming into the FDA to answer or to address very particular pre-specified questions that they've sent to the agency in advance. And there are relatively few opportunities to just sit down and talk about drug development more generally with regulators, certainly in an informal setting with a large amount of time. And so it's an unusual opportunity in that regard.
So I work specifically in the field of lung cancer, and I've made a lot of great connections with some of the lung cancer patient advocacy groups. And so this has been tremendous for me personally in advancing the cause of bringing new therapies for lung cancer patients and establishing contacts and relationships with different patient advocacy groups specifically for lung cancer.
As we're learning about new classes of products, as sponsors develop new classes such as immuno-oncology products, antibody-drug conjugates, different types of studies are needed. We learn more, and this is a chance for the sponsors to come and learn from what the FDA has actually learned. As we receive packages from industry, from the sponsors, and as we learn about these products, we rethink drug development. What are the studies, non-clinical studies that are needed to support phase 1 trials? What if the sponsors have combination products? What have we learned so far? And how can we do clinical trials better based on non-clinical studies? So it's a very good place to come and learn. At the FDA, we're also learning. And once we learn, we give back by exposing the sponsors to what we have learned so far from a non-clinical perspective.
We have every year 3 or 4 drugs that have been successfully developed, and we have the folks on the team from industry who developed the drug, and then their counterparts, matched up, clinical pharmacologist for clinical pharmacologist, and so on from the FDA. They all sit down together and they basically talk about, from the very first discovery of that drug all the way to bringing it to market, how did it happen, where did it almost go wrong, how did we get it back on track, and so on. And those are always tremendously well received. There's nothing like that at any other conference in the world that I've ever seen.
So I think there is the potential for the AAADV workshop to get drugs on the market quicker due to the fact that it is educating just the right kind of person who is developing drugs in the oncology space.